everyone and welcome to RC Fun and Games. I am Ryan and today we're going to be doing a custom paint job to one of these awesome Jeep Cherokee bodies from Injora. For those that follow the channel, they will know that I built this one last year and I really liked the way it turned out with the blue body. But since I did this build, I've been wanting to do a tribute to one of my favorite YouTube channels out there, which is Matt's Off-Road Recovery. For anybody that watches their content, you will know exactly what I'm going to be doing with this. I'm going to be turning it into their awesome rig, the Banana. So let's get this thing out of the box. Let's get it sanded down. Let's get a couple of layers of yellow onto it. And of course, add the detail needed to make it look just like the real rig. And of course, when I'm done, I'll run it around the backyard course so we can see it in action. Now, before I run outside, let's get this box open and see exactly what we get inside here. And as you can all see, these are the contents of the box. It requires assembly, but before I do that, I'm going to grab some 800 grit sandpaper and I'm going to scuff up the whole surface of this body to prepare it for the paint. Now, like I mentioned, I'm going to be using an 800 grit to start off with. And I just want to scuff up the body everywhere, especially in all the grooves and everything else. You want to make sure you get it nice, or else the paint doesn't want to stick to the edges. You got to make sure you get all those little edges nicely scuffed up so the paint can grab. I'm just using a piece of foam that's kind of square so that I can get into those really tricky spots. And you're just going to want to scuff it lightly all over the whole surface just to make sure the paint has got something really decent to grab onto. Okay, so I got the whole body sanded down and I also taped it up so I can paint the fenders and the edges of the bottom of the door, and on the hood 2 black stripes. Normally they are grills, so in the future I'll probably put some grills on there, but for now I'm just going to paint it black. Once I've painted the black, then I will tape off the black and I will paint down the yellow. So let me go and get stuck in. Okay, and I'm going to start off with a coat of primer. Okay, so now that the primer's dried up, I'm going to give it a little coat of black over the top. Okay, so I've taken off the tape I had over the body, I've taped up the black that I painted, and now I'm going to throw some primer over the whole body, and then I'm going to throw the yellow on. Now I'm going to wait 30 minutes and I'll come back to put the coat of yellow. Okay, so now that I've waited for the primer to dry for 30 minutes, it's time for that first coat of yellow. Now I'm going to wait 15 to 20 minutes before I come back and do another coat. Okay, so now that I've waited another 20 minutes, I'm going to give it another coat. Okay, so I'm going to give it another coat of yellow quickly, and then I'm going to take off the tape and paint the whole body with clear lac. Okay, so I think I've done enough layers of yellow now, so I'm going to let that dry for 30 minutes and then I'll come and take the tape off and put some clear lac on it. Now it's time to give it that layer of clear lac, just to protect the paint every time you roll it. Hopefully it won't just chip off. Okay, so I've given it a coat of clear lac. I'll be back in a bit to give it another coat, maybe even another one after that, just to make sure that paint is well protected. Now the last thing left to paint is the grille, so I'm just going to give it a coat of primer and then some yellow. Now normally I would have given it a base coat in white to make sure the yellow can come up, but I haven't got any white, so I'm just going to give it a coat of yellow. If I don't like it in the future, I can always change it. Now that I've let it dry for 10 minutes, I'm going to give it another coat. Okay, so this is my fourth and final coat on the grille. Then I'm heading into the garage so we can go and assemble the body. Now it's time to get all these little bits assembled and of course show you guys what this body turned out like. And as you can see, with the clear lac over the top, it actually came out looking pretty good. Can't complain. There's a few little misses around the body, but you know what? For such a small scale, it actually came out quite good. Now, I don't know how good this is going to turn out. It was really difficult to get the tape into these little holes as there's no way to stick to, but let's see. It didn't come out perfect. I went and ripped one little piece of paint off the grill over there, but afterwards I will touch that up. But for now, it gives the effect that it needed to give. Okay, so now that I've got the window in, it's time to get those rear lights in. Now I might as well get all the door handles in. Now the only thing left to do is assemble the grille. So let me see if I can squeeze these lights in with all these layers of paint I put on. Okay, so now that I've got the lights into the grille, it's time to get this grille fitted onto the body. Okay, now that we've got that in there, it's time to throw some screws in. Okay, so now that I'm all done fitting it to the chassis, the only thing left to do is to take it around the backyard course so we can see it in action. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this type of content, and soon I will be assembling my RC 4-wheel drive Mojave 2. So that one over there is also going to be quite a big project, and I'll probably end up breaking it up into 3 different episodes. So if you don't want to miss any of the latest content, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this type of content, please smash the like button. And if there's anything you want to talk about, use the comment section to get in contact with me. So for now, I'm going to leave you all with some running footage. I hope you enjoy it. And until the next video, happy trails, everyone.